So today my group Narmada will be sharing the views about how the Big Bang is wrong and all of. Um,
Anil Bhaiya, PPT is not shared.
Proji, is the screen visible?
Anji, what about Galaxies?
Yes, Proji.
Oh, that's exciting.
What about galaxies? What are galaxies? A galaxy is basically a huge ball of gas and dust and billions of stars held together. Gorang.
Prabhuji, am I audible?
Yes, Prabhu, you're audible.
Oh, okay. What scientists think a galaxy is formed. Space was made up almost entirely of hydrogen and helium. Some astronomers think that gravity pulled dust and gas together to form individual stars, and those stars drew close together into collection that ultimately became galaxies. So, as Umang Didi also said, that after the Big Bang, in 10 seconds only, the neutrons means the atoms were formed, and after 20 minutes, they started crashing into each other because of very hot temperature. So, after Big Bang, how is it possible that gravity is made? Because every atom was crashing into each other, and there is no matter from which gravity could be made. So how gravity pulled dust and gas together to form individual stars?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I don't know why my screen is hanging. So sorry for the inconvenience. I don't know why my screen is hanging. Just 1 minute. Yes.
That's okay, Prabhu. You can just continue with the presentation. In case the screen is not going along with you, that's okay. You can just speak from, if you can see the screen on your, you can open the screen on your laptop. You can read from there. Even if it cannot be shared, it's okay.
Okay, Prabhuji. Yes. Humanshu.
So, is Big Bang correct? No, we cannot say that Big Bang is correct, as Big Bang does not explain the initial or the origin point of how galaxies were formed. Also, it was given by the great scientist John Lemaitre. But my main question is this: that how a whole new universe can be formed by crashing of two meteors?
Like in the Hanuman Chalisa, Shastra, Jojan per Bhanu, like the distance between the earth and the sun and the earth is mentioned in the Hanuman Chalisa. Like for example, in Sanskrit, one jog equals 12,000 years. One Shastra equals 1,000 years, and one Newton equals 8 miles. So 12,000 to 1,000 to 8 equals 96 million miles. So 1 mile equals 1.6 kilometers. So this further implies the distance is 96 million into 1.6 kilometers. That is 15 million 36 lakh kilometers. So after a certain inclusion decoding the famous line of Hanuman Chalisa by Tulsidas, they could find the distance of the Earth of the Sun. The scientists found that it is exactly the same that it was discovered later. This is the exactly distance calculated by NASA to reach Sun from Earth.
Hindu Shastras. Just like in above slide, all the calculations are given in our Hindu Shastras, but the theory of Big Bang is not to be found.
Scientists only assume that the Earth was Big Bang. It is formed around 4 years ago from distant gas left after the sun formed.
The one big question. It is stated that our universe began by exploding into an empty space when initially there was no matter, and without matter and energy, from where it is the material for the explosion arrived. So here in that it is stated that the universe began exploding. But my main question to all of you is that there was no matter or energy from where the explosion arrived.
The, the truth behind the Big Bang. The theory becomes a bit more fuzzy when it fails to explain the following two questions. Why are galaxies arranged as they are? Why planets are so properly arranged? The very common sense defy that it is a result of some big bang or explosion, then it must result into entropy. But on the contrary, we have such a well-designed cosmic manifestation highlighted in the intelligent designing. So here it stated that a Big Bang theory uh, cannot explain two questions, which is why galaxies are arranged as they are and why planets are so properly arranged. So the scientists say that because of Big Bang, the Earth is moving towards the Sun slowly, means very slowly. So if there is a small difference in the earth distance from the sun, like only 1 centimeter, or it's 1 centimeter near or 1 centimeter far, it the life is not possible on earth. So by an explosion, how can the planets or the galaxies can be in one place?
Law of physics. According to the law of physics, also Big Bang is wrong. Is it violates the first law of thermodynamics, which says you can't create or destroy matter or energy. So a person can be wrong, but not common sense can be wrong. If also universe is formed by clashing things, so why he did not create a whole universe by destroying things?
Steven Weinberg. As Steven Weinberg says in the first 3 minutes, this theory of the formation of galaxies is one of the great outstanding problems in astrophysics, a problem that today seems far from solution. 21. Then, without skipping a beat, he says, "But that's another story." But no, wait, it is exactly the story. If the Big Bang theory can't explain the initial cause of the universe, or the major features of the universe, such as galaxies, what does it explains? Not very much, it would seem. So here in this slide, the great scientist Steven Weinberg says in the first 3 minutes that the theory that this the how did the galaxies form, and the Big Bang theory is one of the greatest problems in the astrophysics. But it is says that it is very far from solution, but without skipping, he says, "But that's another story." But no, wait. He says that is exactly the story. If Big Bang theory can't explain the initial cause of the niche of how of the universe, or the major features of the universe, such as galaxies, then what does the Big Bang explain? Not so much. Would seem.
Existence of God. So we can say that God has created the universe. Of course, as Big Bang is scientifically proven totally useless, so God must have created it. Bible in Genesis 1.1 says that God has created the universe, and also if God has not had the universe, so how was universe made? As Big Bang is totally useless. So in this slide also, uh, it states in this slide that Bible also says that God has created universe.
Thank you. So, so the main conclusion of my PPT is that God has created the universe, because the Big Bang cannot because the Big Bang is totally useless, because it cannot explain the initial point that how the universe was made. So definitely, if there is creation, there would be a creator. So therefore, God has created the universe. Hare Krishna. So, anyone has question regarding the slide?
Before questions, actually, we should not tell very good like the points that we liked about the presentation. we'll come with questions, but at least like a few points that anybody liked about the presentation. So one thing that I like very much is that you had a conclusion at the end of your session. You had a conclusion, which helps me understand that what were you trying to present throughout that 15 minutes of presentation. That was very good thing I liked about your presentation. Second was the Hanuman Chalisa example. I lost connection that time, but the fact that you could bring understanding of the whole presentation into something that that you relate with, like Hanuman Chalisa. So that was very nice. We could bring it to your own level. That's very interesting. That's very important. So this is the second thing I liked. And third thing was that I could sense simplicity in your presentation. It was like simple. You quoted a scientist by the name of Stephen Weinberg. So what you were saying, it was not your thought or was not your opinion. It's the opinion of an authority in the field of science. So that makes our arguments very strong. Okay, I'm not saying this. My name is Padasevan Bhaktadas. I don't know physics. I don't have a PhD in physics, but somebody else who is a PhD in physics, who is an authority in this field, he's saying that. And that makes it a very strong argument. So we should always use authorities, We should always fire the guns from the shoulder of authorities. And that's what makes our argument very, very strong. These are the few points which I really liked about the presentation. Thank you so much. One very small thing that we could improve, and like all of us could improve, is that maybe all of you are like doing it for the first time and it's a difficult subject matter, but when like you continue doing it and you become like more more expert in the presentation, so try not to read from the PPTs. We should never ever try to read from the PPT. Reading I can do, anybody else can do. That's not what you who is presenting should be doing. Reading is, this is not a reading class. What you should do instead is that you should later on, I understand, because it's a new topic and we are presenting for the first time, so it's okay for this time, it's okay for the next time also. But gradually, what should happen is that we make a presentation and we make an understanding. We should internalize what we have written on the slide. On the slide, there should be just 3 points, 3 bullet points, 1, 2, 3. Each point having a maximum 8 to 10 words, and we should bring that point and we should talk about it. Just talk about it. Talk as if it's your own words, like that. Then go to the next point, just talk about it, speak about it, as if it's your own language, as if they're your own words. Don't read something on the PPT.
Yes,
that's not what PPTs are meant for. And I'm sure you'll be able to do it, because when you practice it more, so gradually you'll be more confident and you will know the subject matter more strongly. So because you're just 10-year-old kids who are presenting Big Bang theory, and which is, as said by Stephen Weinberg, the greatest problem in astrophysics. That is such a big thing that you're doing, and I'm so happy. And I'm sure Prabhupada must be very happy to see you, finding the flaws with these great astrophysicists and physicists. Thank you so much, Sanal Prabhu and your whole group. What's the name of your group?
Thank you, Prabhu.
What's the name of your group?
Narmada.
Okay, thank you so much, Narmada. Group led by Sanal Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Anybody else who has any good points to share about them, they can share their good points about the presentation. They can appreciate the presentation. It is very important to appreciate what others are doing. That's what happens in Vaikuntha. Everybody's appreciating everybody else, even if they're better than us, even if they're not as good as we are, but they appreciate. Sure, Hardik Pro. I'm sorry I didn't invite you before, because I didn't know that your network allows you to speak. So you can surely speak, Pro.
So actually, I'll just give a brief background. Sanil's mother is in the group. He does not have a personal phone. So what happened? I just contacted him, and he realized it on Tuesday or Wednesday that he has a different group. He's the group leader and he has to get things along. Before that, there were his exams, which were very regular. So चीजें नहीं हो पा रही थी. But जब उनको पता लगा, तो उसके बाद उन्होंने काम करना शुरू किया. There were people और उन सबके साथ मिलके शुरू किया. तो बहुत अच्छे से इन्होंने काम करा. तो सानिल ने उस हिसाब से बहुत अच्छे से किया प्रेजेंटेशन को, और सब लोगों को इन्वॉल्व किया. आज की हिमांशु को और गौरांग को इन्वॉल्व करो, और थोड़ा चैलेंज होता है, बट बहुत अच्छे से किया. द बेस्ट थिंग आई लाइक्ड अबाउट द प्रेजेंटेशन वाज कि उन्होंने जो प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट था उसको बहुत अच्छे से स्टेट किया. I just give a brief about the topic. जो गैलेक्सीज के बारे में अगर हमने गैलेक्सीज के बारे में पढ़ा है या हमने गैलेक्सीज को देखा, जैसे हमारी गैलेक्सी जो है दैट इज मिल्की वे इज स्पाइरल. डिफरेंट गैलेक्सीज होती हैं जिसमें मास बहुत अनइक्वली डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होता है. बट अगर हम मैथमेटिकली या बिग बैंग थ्योरी को जाएंगे तो वो ये स्टेट करता है कि क्योंकि एवरीथिंग स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम अ सिंगल पॉइंट, तो सब कुछ यूनिफॉर्म होना चाहिए. देयर शुड बी नो नॉन यूनिफॉर्मिटी इन द यूनिवर्स, बट वो प्रेजेंट है और गैलेक्सीज भी वैसे ही होता है. तो दिस वाज द होल थिंग, और उन्होंने उसको बताया, काफी हद तक सही बताया. तो दिस वाज व्हाट आई रियली लाइक्ड अबाउट द प्रेजेंटेशन. एंड यस, टाइम कम था प्रोजी, तो देख नेक्स्ट टाइम विल डेफिनेटली इंप्रूव ऑन दिस पार्ट.
Yes, I'm very happy with every presentation. Everybody who's presenting, whatever they're presenting, we are very, very happy. So do not feel that I think whoever is coming forward who has like done any amount of work, we are very, very happy.
Yes, Proji.
It's, thank you, Broji.
We can
Thank
take
you
one
so
or
much,
two
Anil
questions
Prabhu.
if you allow,
Thank
or
you.
like then we can move to the next presentation.
I just wanted to add, if anybody has, I think there are many hands raised, so Hardik Prabhu, you can like invite whoever has raised their hands to speak.
Yes, Proji. We have Khyati can speak first, followed by Radhika.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, as I'm just 10 years old and I didn't know much about Big Bang, so the presentation, it was made in very simple words, and I don't know much about space and stuff. So I was able to learn a lot about it, and the format and the background, everything, it was very nice, and that is why I like the presentation.
Great, thank you, Khyati. Radhika.
Yes, I wanted to make the same point as Kathy, that it was very simply explained, and especially Gauranga, Gaurang, sorry, he was being natural and he explained very nicely. One thing I would just like to correct or want to ask, the Big Bang was not actually an explosion, but you can say it was a starting point, singularity, it was there, and it just expanded. It was an expansion, not an explosion. So I just wanted to ask what would be your arguments in that?
Okay, Radhika, thank you for correcting us.
Sorry if I offended you, but just trying to.
No.
That's okay. So that's okay, Radhika. So I just wanted to add one very small thing. There's something called a feedback sandwich. Feedback sandwich. Has anybody heard about that? Feedback sandwich? No. Arindam Prabhu, you're saying yes, I think. So can you tell us what is the feedback sandwich?
Yes, Prabhuji. I don't remember the whole example of that feedback sandwich, but as far as I remember, the way of feedback is first you tell about the good qualities about the thing of like of whatsoever you are giving the feedback of. Just like in the case we are giving the feedback of the presentation. So first we'll tell the good qualities and what were the good points in the presentation and all those things. Then in between we'll ask a question, or we can find out few mistakes or any correction whatsoever. Then at last again we gave that overall the presentation was very awesome, very good and easy to understand, which actually was true. So like that, so the starting and the ending is with good qualities, and in the middle you give the actual feedback which you want to give, so the other person does not feel hurt. So it's
Thank you so much, Arindam Prabhu. But it is not something like buttering that you add like the good and the bad in the starting and the end, and the actual comes in between. So what you said is like fine, but it's not like that. We are like adding the butter on the top and the bottom, and the middle part is like the actual part. The thing is actually the whole the philosophy behind giving feedback in Vaishnava culture is that as devotees at Vaishnavas, we want to see the good in the devotees, and we want to help them to because they want us to help them, so we want to help them to improve. So we call it not mistake, we call it a correction. We use the word improvement, because all Vaishnavas, they want to serve Krishna and Prabhupada in a better way. So we use the word improvement. So we start with good things which are there in every devotee, every service has good parts. We highlight the good parts. Then we highlight like as many good parts as possible. Then we add one or two corrections, and that too in a very different way. Like in a way like I would have said that, Sanil Prabhu, I really liked about the presentation. It was so simple, it was so easy to understand, and it was like so logical, and it quoted authorities. And you could have like improved if you would have like I would say, and if you would have brought out an example from real life, it could have become even better than that. Even like further, it would have further improved the presentation and would have made it very interesting. So this is the improvement part. I'm saying how if you could have done that, it would have become even better. This is the improvement part. That's the way to
Yes,
say it.
Prabhuji.
Not that I shouldn't say that Hollywood. I should not say that Hollywood was good, but I should not say like this. But that it was fine. But the thing is, so that actually erodes all the good things I've said. We should not use the word but. So after I've added the improvement, and I end with the word, I end with like a bright future for you. So I should say, Sanil Prabhu, if you keep on going this way, I'm sure in the next few months they're going to be like you're going to be like an expert in the presentations. I'm sure about this. So I end with a hope, with a strong future hope and positivity, in the future. That's how I should end.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji.
I remember,
And I will
Prabhu,
try to
what you
improve.
said was like almost right, but I just added a few things. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Radhika, for your improvements. And actually, we wanted to bring this